This is part of the Magic Tricks series, and it is one of the most unbelievable tricks that I could offer you to get you through a question that only has one point. And here the trick is I've put in the box. You can think of it as a random point, so just think of it as a point on a graph. And what do we do with points on graphs? We just sub them in. So that will be one route that I had. And then the other way I can think of the turning point is as a turning point. And when I think turning point, immediately my brain constantly just goes derivative equals 0. And so let's dive into that. So if I think of it as a point, I'm just going to straight up sub in the values. And these are the kind of questions that are so nice. It's for 8 marks. They're so nice because once you know the trick to get through it, you realize that the actual maths of it is not too bad, not too daunting. But it's just that initial, how do I get started? I'm going to take everything across to this side. So that will become 9, and I'm going to take the b across as well. I prefer myself to live in the land of the positives, and so I also prefer to try get a letter by itself rather than just leaving a and b on the same side. And so there's my kind of dead end for now, my first equation if you like. And then I'm simply going to try think of it as a turning point, and so I'll go from the original question here and I'll do the derivative. So when it's a stationary point, the derivative equals 0. I times the power by the front coefficient and drop it by 1. I times the power by the front and drop it by 1. Times the power by the front and drop it by 1, and the constant term 36 will disappear, and I make that equal to 0. I've said a few times in other videos, what do you do when you've done the derivative but it still just feels like it's got way too many letters and a bit confusing? You're always able to sub in the x value where that is happening. And so it's happening at -1, and so let's sub in -1. Nothing like getting rid of another letter to make our lives a bit easier. So that becomes 3, that's -2a plus b, and I know that a is 9 plus b, so every time I see a, I'm just going to put 9 plus b. That leaves me with 3 minus 18, which is minus 15, and minus 2b, plus a b is minus b, and so b just equals minus 15, and I generally prefer to sub that into the equation where I've got the other letter by itself, just as a habit. So it becomes 9 and b is minus 15, and so a would equal minus 6. And that's actually a great example of just turning a question that felt a bit daunting when I saw 8 marks and 1 bit of information into 2 pretty normal steps and a whole magical way of thinking about using 1 point twice. So I hope that was helpful. Please like the video, share it with any friends, and subscribe to our channel.